$30 billion investment fund for AI infrastructure, because that's what the Financial Times is reporting. BlackRock and Microsoft are working on. They're going to announce, or reportedly going to announce this fund pretty soon here. A lot of names involved that we care about. This is going to be through BlackRock's global investment infrastructure partners, also MGX, also Nvidia involved. And of course, this is a theme we talk about so much with artificial intelligence.
Right now, though, we know that while AI has taken the stock market by storm, it really hasn't taken the actual economy by storm.
History to 16 years ago when a two-day, $200 billion run on money market funds began on September 17, 2008. It started when the Reserve Primary Fund, the OG money market product created in 1970, broke the buck. And admission its shares were no longer worth $1 as promised. This after its holding of debt plunged in value when Lehman Brothers collapsed just a couple of days earlier.
Well, this is certainly the kind of thing that would cause Hezbollah to strike back. I mean, this was quite unprecedented. We're talking about 2,800 injuries right now, 200 critically wounded. We have blasts as far as Syria, and even the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon was injured. So it certainly harkens the notion that there might be some kind of escalatory attack for this quite embarrassing.
Pretty remarkable. Lebanon's telecom minister, Johnny Korm, suggesting the batteries on these devices likely overheated. He's calling it foul play, and Lebanon was quick to blame Israel, as we've been reporting. Would we expect Israel to take credit if that's in fact true?
I doubt Israel will take credit, but we do know that just yesterday they had accused Hezbollah of potentially assassinating.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos are to come. And we have BlackRock, Microsoft, and Nvidia and others putting a $30 billion fund together, so therefore they can start building out this AI infrastructure. And we had Jim Cramer saying that AI took the stock market by storm, but not really the economy. But guys, we know the economy is next. Once the Fed and these central banks are done destroying the legacy market. We know they want the robots, algorithms, and drones to take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheet to go inside the metaverse. And remember, guys, this is a plan. It's going to take 3 to 5 years for this to be implemented. But remember, guys, just a few years ago with the C word, it is now 2024 in 4 years. Guys, time flies. And I've told plenty of you, if you're young, you're in the right place. Because before you know it, as long as you have invested correctly, prepared correctly, you're going to be fine for decades to come. You know what the goal is, and that's this digital economy. And on this day, 16 years ago, we had the 2008 crash. And what they leave out, guys, remember, this new digital economy started to gain steam. And that's when we got Bitcoin and crypto start to get his legs. And remember, the big banks, big corporations, we're talking about Bitcoin and crypto this whole time. But if you follow the money, they've been funding Bitcoin and crypto from the beginning. This was a plan all along. Sell the Bitcoin narrative that Bitcoin is here to replace the banks, the corporations, the politicians. But all along, the big banks and big corporations were controlling Bitcoin and crypto. When you sit back and look at the plan, guys, it was definitely genius. And then, guys, of course, the movie continues. And this definitely has to be some type of genius. This sounds like MacGyver. 007 is here. We have pagers explode. Over 2,800 people injured. Guys, and we know the drums are going to get louder. But we also know that the banks fund both sides. And remember, when they're funding both sides, they're pushing us towards an agenda. And that agenda is the machine takeover, along with blockchain and these digital assets. And speaking of crypto, we had the Trump project taking heat today. But I told y'all last night what it was all about. Even though it took heat They got a lot of eyes on it. And guys, we know this is all about adoption. And Bitcoin and crypto are now in front of the sheep. We know they're not going to do any type of research, but they'll definitely throw a couple dollars just to invest. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
It had a big announcement, still isn't live, and we don't yet have an activation date, but we did find out who's on the exec team for the Trump crypto enterprise, some details of the official token launch, and roughly what the platform aims to do. Now, in terms of the org chart, Donald Trump, his sons, his close friend Steve Witkoff, and Steve's two sons are all founding members. They're describing World Liberty Financial as a decentralized crypto banking platform where users will be able to borrow, lend, and earn interest on cryptocurrencies. But really, the headline of Monday's more than 2-hour live stream is that yes, the Trump family is helping to launch a token, but no, the founders are not taking the widely reported 70% of total tokens issued, a figure that was based on what's believed to be a leaked internal memo from the World Liberty team. Instead, the equity structure is very much in line with other DeFi projects. 20% of the WLFI tokens will be allotted to the World Liberty team, and 63% of tokens will be made available for purchase. However, it's unclear if anyone will actually be able to cash out of those tokens, since these are governance coins that are non-transferable and only meant to be used to vote on matters related to the platform. They also don't provide any dividends or other distributions. Now, that token sale apparently happening soon, but no official date has been set yet. And quick note here, Joe, while the Trumps still receive compensation from the project, the platform itself is not owned, managed, operated, or sold by members of the Trump family.
There's a lot of scuttlebutt on some websites, and, Drudge, I don't... If Trump walked on water, the headline at Drudge would be that Trump can't swim. That's just literally the way it worked. But they made him out to be the most ignorant person about crypto that just got all bogged down, knew none of the details, said Barron knows a lot about it, and then Barron was a no-show or something. Compared to the average boomer, 78-year-old boomer, how bad was the X presentation for not knowing anything about crypto, in your view, Mackenzie?
So of the 2 hours, Trump spoke for 40 minutes, and he spoke on a variety of topics. But in terms of what he relayed on the crypto front, he didn't talk about the project at all. Now, he did talk about his take on the industry more broadly, how he was brought into the sector. He talked about his NFT collections initially sparking his interest. He talked about the fact that his sons are well versed in this space. He talked about the need for more energy to support both AI and the robust crypto infrastructure here in the US, but he didn't get into the mechanics of the project. We heard from other members of his family, from Steve Witkoff, from Steve's two sons, with respect to details of the project itself.
Yeah, I just wonder, was it really cringe? Because, his stance on crypto has evolved, and it was, I think he called it, that was Charlie who called it, Charlie Munger who called it, I think, rat poison or whatever, but he was not bullish on it. But lately, crypto advocates have counted him among the ranks of supporters compared to Elizabeth Warren or Gary Gensler or someone like that. But was it cringe? And that's what my kids, that's a word, that means bad, Mackenzie. It means really uncomfortable.
Well, to your earlier point, Trump has certainly found quite a huge base of supporters within the crypto community because of how well-versed he's been on certain topics like mining and, his views in terms of politics, not wanting to have an SEC that's so hostile to the industry, wanting to deal with certain politicians. But in terms of this project in particular, he is not, he's not polling all that well with the crypto community. They really appreciate a lot of what he had to say in Nashville and at other events, a lot of things that were said in support of the industry. But in terms of this crypto project, there are a lot of concerns around the leadership team, around the code that's been floated behind the scenes. So I think that that's where the concern lies. To your point about whether this was cringeworthy, I think that I leave that up to how people felt in response to the discussion last night. He just didn't talk about the project. And I think that was one of the biggest concerns. It took the last 5 minutes to get any sort of material details.
I know very little. I know just enough to be dangerous. But if a crypto expert started throwing questions at me, I guarantee you my answers would be cringe. If you were to do that, Mackenzie, you know so much more. But I just wondered because it's the lead story, on Drudge. It was supposedly, and then I'm looking at everywhere else. I really can't find anything, that really describes it as that cringeworthy. But maybe it was.
What's next for crypto investing after ETFs? Josh has obviously talked a lot about crypto's acceptance by the FA community. Our crypto investing reporter for CNBC Pro, Tanea McKeel, is with us as well. You've been talking to a lot of people here. It's nice for you to come sit with us. What have you learned?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Two things come to mind, Scott. So the Bitcoin ETFs and the Ether ETFs were such a huge feat for this industry. But what I'm hearing a lot is that investors on the institutional side and advisors are really not as focused as I think the crypto space would like on the next single coin focused ETF, and instead are looking at more actively managed portfolio type strategies, or for a different kind of investor. I actually spoke with Matt Hogan about this yesterday, saying the new 1 to 3% allocation is now 3 to 5%. So I really think that this is a time of just, investor education, sitting with these ETFs and figuring out how investors feel about increasing their allocation and, what more we can do with the space. And then, of course, tokenization. A hot topic for a couple of years now. Something I kind of expect to go away usually when the bull market comes back, but it really has stuck around, which I think is a reflection of the increasing institutional interest in the space.
One of the ways we teed this up was, you came on with us, I don't know, several months ago at this point, and wrote a piece about the broad acceptance by the community now.
Yeah. I think you're seeing the bleeding edge advisor right now talking to clients and not recommending crypto, asking clients if they want to have crypto in their portfolio. And if they do, there are now some really great liquid, publicly traded options from the largest asset management firms literally in the world. That's what's changed this year versus last year. What'll change next year is you'll have more advisors proactively saying, this is a non-correlated return stream. We're not exactly sure what the fundamental driver of the price is, but we do know it differentiates relative to stocks, relative to bonds, relative to commodities, and it's something that we think you should have an investment in. Unfortunately for investors, that'll probably happen at Bitcoin 100,000, but that's just the nature. That's just the nature of human psychology.
You get a sense of that, Tanea, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Something I'm hearing here is that Bitcoin is kind of the only certain thing. So unlike, my reporting from the crypto side, I think once you see Bitcoin hit an all-time high, you tend to expect Ether to follow, and then that long tail of other crypto assets after. We haven't really seen that from the altcoins. Ethereum is kind of losing its luster. There's this feeling that the investment case for it is not really playing out, but Bitcoin, regardless of who wins the election, is the only certain thing right now.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.